Thank you, Madam Secretary. We'll start 5-minute rounds. Let me start off with a letter that the Ukrainian Parliament has sent us, and I want to read one paragraph of it because I think it creates context for everything we're deciding. As you read this, Russian troops are indiscriminately shelling civilians, residential areas, schools, and hospitals. The aggressor is using weapons prohibited by the Geneva Convention and international humanitarian law, such as cluster bombs and vacuum thermobaric bombs intended to cause severe suffering to human beings. And when civilians try to escape the combat zones, Russian soldiers shoot at humanitarian, quote, green corridors, turning them blood red. I ask unanimous consent that the letter be included in today's record without objection. The spokesperson for UNICEF has said 1 million children have fled Ukraine, calling it, quote, a dark historical first. That spokesperson said, we have not seen a refugee crisis of this speed and scale since World War II, and this is a children's crisis. So against that backdrop, I understand that the government of Poland, a very little while ago, after consultations between their president and the government, are ready to deploy immediately and free of charge their MiG-29 jets and place them at the disposal of the United States of America. They decided not to go directly, but and of course they have concerns about the backfilling of that at some point in time in some way. Can you speak to that and where we're at in that regard now that the government of Poland has made that decision?
So, Chairman, I saw that announcement by the government of Poland as I was literally driving here today. To my knowledge, it wasn't pre-consulted with us that they plan to give these planes to us. But as you know, we have been having consultations with them for a couple of days now about this request from the Ukrainians to receive their aircraft, and were they to donate them, whether we would be able to help support backfill and their own security needs. So I look forward, when this hearing is over, to getting back to my desk and seeing how we will respond to this proposal of theirs to give the planes to us.
Well, they've moved forward now, and they have said that their planes are now disposable. They're willing to give it. The one thing that we have heard consistently is a call for a no-fly zone. I understand the challenges of that. NATO and other countries not willing to engage in a direct conflict with Russia, but giving Ukrainians the wherewithal to fight over their own airspace and to be able to have some control over their airspace is clearly desirable. So now that Poland has made this decision, and it would be my hope that other countries in the region as well, that we would be forward-leaning in finding a pathway forward. Because the one thing about all of this is time is of the essence. If we are going to make a difference, time is of the essence. Let me ask you this. We are doing all these sanctions. There's no one who has been an advocate of sanctions, generally speaking, and certainly in this case more than I have on this committee, but I'm wondering about cryptocurrency, because we are sanctioning all of the traditional financial and banking systems, but cryptocurrency is an opportunity for Russian oligarchs and others to move in a different direction. Are we having our Treasury Department and others think about how we deal with that challenge?
Mr. Chairman, we are. In fact, we have in the past, as you know, drained designated hacker wallets from Russia. We have other authorities that allow us to go after crypto. Not only are we looking at it ourselves, we are consulting with our European allies and partners on how we might do more together to close down this dangerous spigot of revenue.
Well, I think it's going to be one of the essential elements to continue to dry up every resource that Putin can have and to continue to tighten the economic noose around his neck at the end of the day. Lastly, what are we doing in having a full-scale assault? I said that I sent letters to all the regional secretaries. It seems to me that Putin should feel the consequences everywhere.
Yes.
And that means whether it be Latin America or Asia or Africa, we need to be at the forefront of pressuring Russia in all of those continents, in all of those countries. Are we actively engaged in doing that?
Mr. Chairman, we are. Not only are we pressing every country that we speak to at the President and Secretary's level and all the levels in the department, every single one of our ambassadors has instructions to work with their host nations to try to get them to match U.S. and EU and allied sanctions to the extent that they can and are willing, to condemn Russia. And you saw the vote in the UNGA, 141 countries. There was significant, how should we say, diplomatic elbow grease went into that from allies and partners around the world. And as you know, we have a number of big countries who have abstained from this fight so far, and we are trying to use our influence with them as well to get on the right side of history.
I hope they get on the right side of history. Some of them I like very much, but they need to get there on the right side of history. Senator Risch.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First,